Hey everybody, this is Kirsten here. Welcome back to the Balanced Vibes podcast. Today we're going to talk about some additional strength training tips. Now I'm saying additional because of course I have talked about this topic a lot in the previous episodes, and I will just briefly go over the basics of proper strength training. So we're not going to spend a ton of time on it, and then I'm going to add 5 more things that I haven't talked about quite as much, but are really important if you want to get your workouts to the point where they just help you build more muscle and you will get stronger from them. So more strength training tips, that's what we're going to talk about today. I also want to make sure that you know that we have this amazing Facebook group called Fit and Field, where we share lots of good stuff. We talk about healthy fat loss. We talk about muscle building a lot. We share some food pictures. We do live videos there. So I'm going live there multiple times every week, and actually just got off my Friday live. So this is Friday, July 14th, as I'm recording this, and had a good conversation there while I was live. So people can type in their comments and questions as I am live. So definitely really interesting, and you can ask your questions there and get them answered. So if you are not in the group, you unfortunately don't have access to these videos because they won't be posted anywhere else. They're just in the group. So make sure that you check out the link to my Fit and Fuel Facebook group. And also I want to say that if you cannot be there during those live videos, the live videos will still be in the group. You will find them easily, but you will have to be a member to see them. And they are really, really valuable. It's like almost like I have like a different podcast there, because there's so many videos, and a lot of people actually have told me that when they go out for a walk, they just put those videos on. They don't have to watch them, but they listen to them, and it's kind of like a mini podcast. And there's a lot of them already. Those live recordings, I haven't counted how many exactly, but there's a lot. So it's a great group. So I hope that you enjoy, and I'll see you there. So today, let's talk about more strength training tips. And like I said, I will briefly go over the most important things that I have covered a lot on this podcast previously. For example, what are some of the things you have to know about the right strength training? Is that it's not your typical circuit training. It's not like doing 25 exercises in 30 minutes or 60 minutes, moving through stuff really, really quick. No, it's mostly straight sets. It is doing heavy weights. It is resting between your sets a lot, at least a minute, up to 5 minutes, until your body really feels recovered and you can do it again. It also means that you are using different weights for different exercises. This is not your YouTube workout where you do everything with the 10-pound dumbbells. No, not like that. So you have to really understand that there's different weights for different exercises, because you cannot really compare biceps curl with a deadlift. It's a very different exercise and very different strength involved there. So obviously you will have to use more weight for your deadlift than you do for a biceps curl. But if you're going through a follow along video, you will just not even have the chance to change that. And there you are, you're just doing like lots of repetitions with very light weights, and you didn't really get much out of this workout at all. So this is kind of like the basics that you have to know. Focus on heavy weights, do straight sets, rest between the sets, and just like calm down. I want to say calm down too, because if you're doing like the super high energy circuits, you're not getting what you're supposed to be getting out of the workout. So instead, slow down your pace and take your workouts, look at it as, I'm doing the set and I'm resting and I'm kind of calm and present. It's almost like it can actually be like a meditative thing for a lot of people, because they're so hyper focused on the lifting portion, which is never the case if you're just going through the movement super fast and turn it into what I call the circus workout. All right, but today I want to give you some additional tips for strength training. So the first one is that most of the time it's beneficial to use free weights instead of using machines. And I want to share some client experiences with you. For example, I have worked with women who do have quite a bit of strength training experience already. They're like, yeah, I'm at the gym, 3-4 days a week, and I've been doing this for 2 years. And when I ask, what are you doing? A lot of it is like leg press or hamstring curl or, lots of, let's say the chest press with a machine, 90% of the workouts are done on machines. And of course, it is beneficial. You're still building strength, but the downside is that you are on this very specific line, like how you move. You are actually following what the way the machine is moving, right? But now when you think about it, you switch to free weights. This is not the case. So you are squatting and you have to stabilize with your whole body, with your core, with your abs, with your back, with your shoulders. This is all involved in a squat. So when you compare that with a leg press, which seems like a similar exercise, you're actually using so many more muscles when you're doing the free weights, right? So you're not on this like direct path, this trajectory that the machine puts you on, but you actually are going through this movement on your own, like using everything in your body. And that's so much more demanding on your body. So you challenge all these smaller stabilizing muscles as well. Now, using the same example, like leg press versus squat, squat is a lot harder. And that's why a lot of people don't want to do it. They just want to like sit on a machine and yes, push the weight there, but it's still easier than doing the squat. Squat is also a lot of, it's an exercise. There's a lot of skill involved. You have to learn. A lot of people don't have the patience. They just want to sit on the thing and press the legs, right? It's so much easier, but it's so worth it to learn how to squat properly. You're going to get so much more out of your workouts. Now, also, let's talk about the muscle groups that you didn't even think that could be involved in an exercise that's mostly focused on legs, right? So when we think about barbell squat or dumbbell squat, we're thinking, yeah, legs, glutes, quads, and hamstrings, sure. But did you know that you're actually using a lot of your shoulders? You're actually using your scapula, right? Your shoulder blades, because you have to maintain this really good posture. So imagine that you're doing a back squat. You're going to put the barbell on your back. What you have to do in addition to your legs, like actually squatting the weight, is that you have to pull your shoulder blades back. You have to lift your chest up. You have to tighten up your abs, right? And that's going to even challenge your upper body strength as well, right? Versus now sitting on a leg press machine, and you can, like, the rest of your body can be fairly relaxed. You can only move your legs. And yeah, it's a great leg exercise, but it's not as challenging and not as good for building overall full body strength as a squat could be. So now this is an example, like the squat and leg press is just one example. But the same thing is true, for example, let's say the chest press. So compare bench press, where you're lying on the bench, you're pressing the barbell or dumbbells up. What are you using there? It's not only your arms and chest. You are squeezing your glutes. So you should be squeezing your glutes, maintaining this full body tension in your body. And even this will be working a little bit of other muscles too, not just your upper body. Now, when you sit in a chest press machine, you literally sit it there and you're pressing, and you can just not use any of your lower body muscles, or it's just chest and arms. So definitely there's value in machines. I'm definitely not denying that at all. There is value. And of course, it's better than not doing anything. But if you're always doing machine work, then definitely start adding some free weights. You're going to notice that it's a lot harder to do, and you're probably going to get a little bit more tired from it because you're using much more muscles and it is more demanding, but you will get more out of it, and it's so worth it to learn to use free weights instead of doing everything on machines. Okay, the next thing I want to mention, and this is for those who are maybe a little bit more advanced, is that the big five that I always talk about, which are deadlift, squat, bench press, overhead press in the row, you can vary these as well. So if you're always doing the same conventional deadlift, then you should know that there are also other ways of doing deadlifts, right? So this is not for total newbies. You are totally fine with just, let's say, two options, the conventional deadlift and the stiff leg deadlift, cool. But if you are more advanced, every now and then, throw in some other variation of it too. For example, you could do the Zercher deadlift, which is a really cool exercise. If you haven't seen it, look it up. It's a really different thing. You have probably never seen this before, but it's amazing how much how different it feels in the body. Also, you can do single leg deadlifts. You can do wider stance, a closer stance. There are many variations. You can do deadlifts with bands. There are lots of different options how to do the big five lifts. The same with squats, for example. Yeah, most people are doing simply dumbbell squat or the barbell back squat, but also there is a front squat, which is different skill. There is also the Zercher squat, just like the deadlift. There is the goblet squat, heels elevated squat. There are a lot of options. So if you are a little bit more advanced, but you tend to do the same stuff all the time, then mix it up and like do a phase where you're focusing on a different type of squat or different type of deadlift or other of those big five movements. The next thing, and this is absolutely for everybody, very important to understand, and especially important if you come from this circuit training background, and that is approach your strength movements in a way that you are focusing on the skill of it, right? So you want to get really good at this skill. So it's no longer how many reps can I do in the shortest amount of time, or how many reps can I squeeze into like 30-second work period, which is your typical circuit training. Just throw that away and start thinking, how good can I make my squat, right? Can I perfect my form? Can I tweak some things? Can I work on mobility, which helps me to get lower? Can I work on avoiding my shoulders collapsing forward, but keeping my chest up? What are the small things that I can work on, and really perfecting your form all the time? This is why I'm asking a lot of my clients to send me videos of their exercise, because then I can help them to get closer to that better form so that they can get more out of their workouts. And try to do as many reps as possible is just, it's just a dumb idea. What it does is just makes you sweat more. It increases your cardiovascular health. Yeah, but you could also be doing jumping jacks, right? For that. So just getting through like a million reps with a crappy form, there's no value in it, really. There's a little bit of value. You're still moving your body, but you will get so much more out of it if you just focus on perfecting your form. And like I talked about a couple of episodes ago, can you get good results with 20 to 30-minute workouts? Yeah, you can. And sometimes this workout is going to be just 2 exercises, maybe, and one of them is the squat or a deadlift or another compound lift, but you do it as perfectly as you can, instead of taking those 20 to 30 minutes and doing like 7 exercises real fast. So focusing good form, perfecting your form in the big 5 lifts is what's going to give you great results. All right, 2 more points that I want to talk about today. Lift heavy, but lighten up if it impacts your form. So you often hear me talk about how important it is to put more weight on your bar, challenge yourself. And I always say this because most women are scared to do that. They don't trust themselves. They're like, I don't know if I can do this, or they're just not used to it, or they have this mentality that if I lift heavy, it's going to make me bulky. Actually, just something that I asked about in my Facebook group recently. How many people have heard that if you lift heavy, you're going to get bulky? And people said, yeah. Women said, yes. I've been definitely told this story all the time. Not true, right? So, I mean, bulky, you can get bulky if you train, like this is your full-time job and you eat a ton of protein and you do this for like 10 years straight. Yeah, you may. But this is not most people. So lift heavy, but also notice when your form is suffering and you're like only getting to this like ego lifting, which is like, let me just push more and more and more weight. I don't care if my form isn't great. But then is the time to lighten the weights a little bit and perfect your form again. Kind of comes back to what we talked about before. So yes, overall lift heavy weights, challenge yourself. I think most women need to hear that. But there are some women who tend to lift a little too much and would actually benefit from taking some plates off the barbell and focusing on the form. When the form is perfect, then adding weight. And the last thing I want to mention today, how to make your strength training better, how to get better results, is to take a deload week every now and then. So what is the deload week? So deload week is literally about a week period where you're either doing much lighter workouts or you don't work out at all. And this is really helpful for those, and it's actually only for those who are very consistent with their workouts. This is not for those people who 1 week go to the gym once and the next week don't go at all, and the third week go twice, and then the similar pattern. If you are consistent with working out, let's say you do 3 workouts every single week and you've been doing this for months, then a deload week can actually be very beneficial for you. So during that deload week, like I said, you can take it completely off. And especially in the summertime, people are traveling more, going camping, doing stuff, but they're still active. I'm telling them, take it off. That's totally fine. But again, I want to make sure you know this for those who are consistent with their workouts. And then deload week, also, if you really want to go to the gym, you can go, but you only go there with the mindset of, I'm just going to touch the weights a little bit, right? So you can, let's say that you usually squat with 40 pound dumbbell in each hand. So now you're going to do it with 20 pounds. Or you're just going to do less repetition. You kind of just like move, keep your body in motion, but you're not going to crush and like go hard. I've heard some people say that I just cannot take any break because I feel guilty, I feel bad. I've been doing this for years. There's nothing to feel guilty about. The muscle is not going to fall off your body. It's just not how it happens if you have been very, very consistent with your training. So I want to make sure that you know, that you trust the process. It's okay. And what you find, if you have been consistent, you take that 1 week off, you find usually that when you go back, you feel better. You feel stronger, you feel better recovered. A lot of times you're able to increase your weights and you'd be surprised, like, what the heck just happened? Well, what happened is that your body got the rest that it really was needing, and it feels healthier, it feels stronger. So deload week is definitely a good idea, and I take it myself too. I don't schedule it. So also you can schedule it. You can do it like every 8 weeks. Or so, or you can do every 12 weeks, however you feel like it. I typically do it when I'm either traveling or I just feel like it. So for example, after my most recent program that I talked about too, where I hit 3 personal bests, after that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna need some time off. My body feels tired, and I took off, I think, about 10 days. Just rested. I did walk a little bit on the Stairmaster, but that was it. I didn't touch any weights, and nothing bad happened. Nothing bad happened. So I hope this was helpful for you, and that you learned something new. If you did, please subscribe to this podcast, either way, on YouTube or whatever app you are using to listen to this podcast. I really appreciate it, because that way more people can find it. And also that way you don't miss any episodes that I release in the future. All right, so thank you so much, and I will see you again in the next episode. Take care.